right now. Have you forgotten what day today is?
Huh? Why are you calling me this early in the morning? You know that I had to work the night shift last night, so I only just got to bed a few hours ago.
So, you care more about sleep than you do your own little sister's wedding? How can you use that as an excuse for not showing up to my wedding all of a sudden?
What? Your wedding?
What the heck, Ari? You were so excited to be a part of my wedding when I'd first told you that I was engaged. How could you forget that the wedding was today?
Wait a second, Hazel. What are you talking about? Since when did I say that I wouldn't show at your wedding?
Do you still not realize what today is? You chose not to come today on purpose, right? I guess I should have expected something like this from you, huh?
What? You're lying. Your wedding is today.
Oh, I hate you, Ari. I was even gonna have Macy be the ring bearer today. I was thinking that it'd be so dang cute having your daughter be the one bring the ring down the aisle. And I thought that you'd be pretty happy to see that from her as well. But now, I don't even want to even think about seeing you show up here.
Huh?
I still can't believe you decided to stay home on the day of your little sister's wedding. Now you have me feeling all embarrassed. I don't want to even see your face.
But on your invitation it says that the wedding should be next month, right?
What?
That's what I'm saying. Let's all calm down just a little. Right now, I've got no clue as to what's going on and what you're talking about.
Wait. The date on that invitation is wrong? Why did that happen? Are you sure you didn't misread it?
The invitation that I have in my hand right now that I got from you says that your wedding is supposed to be next month. So I never thought that today would be the day of your wedding.
But that can't be right. I had those invitations all made up through the wedding planner's company, so they should all be perfect. Everyone else that received the invitation showed up today, and none of them has said anything about there being a mistake.
So then that would mean my invitation is the only one with an incorrect date, huh?
How did that happen? They were all printed out together in the same batch. There wasn't even that many cards printed, so there shouldn't have been any misprints made.
Well, no matter how this misprint happened, I still didn't show to your wedding today, and I'm really sorry about that, Hazel. You even wanted to have my daughter be the ring bearer, and I still didn't make it there with her.
No, you don't have to apologize. I'm sorry that I got all worked up like that without first asking why you didn't make it. I'm sure this has really ruined your day off.
Uh-huh. You have every right to be mad at me after having someone really important not show up. Well, for the time being, you need to not let this get to your head and just focus on enjoying your wedding. We can figure the rest out another day. Anyway, you should be having an after party, right?
Ari?
I'm gonna be fine. Don't worry about me not making it. As long as you promise to show me all the pictures that you have later, I'll be just fine. Alright, I'm really sorry about what happened today, but please have the best time of your life getting married. I am truly sorry for not showing up to the wedding without letting anyone know. The fact that the wedding was supposed to be my little sister and your son's big day makes this apology all the more difficult for me to say. I still can't believe it. You decided to take the day off to sleep in instead of making it to my son's wedding. When I'd first heard that you'd be a no-show on purpose, I was quite angry. I mean, the mother of the ring bearer canceling. Well, that's just unheard of, isn't it? I suppose we're lucky that I was able to have my little girl step in for her. I'm terribly sorry, and thank you for letting your granddaughter step in. Luckily, she was wearing a really cute dress yesterday, so it wasn't a problem for me. If she'd been wearing one of her normal, more cheaply made dresses, then that wedding would have been embarrassing for me. A true nightmare for all of us. I'm sure that you've heard about the reason why I didn't make it, but in case you haven't, there was a misprint on the invitation I received, where the date of the wedding was written as being next month instead of this month. I know that you might think of me in a bad way right now, but I promise that I didn't want to miss the wedding. There was a misprint. Well, actually, it was only the month that the wedding would take place that was misprinted. Do you have any idea as to why that'd be? And what are you trying to get at with that question? Well, the card that I received from Hazel was given to me by you, right? You gave it to me the same day that you came over to bring me some of the vegetables that you and your husband had grown on your farm. That's right, and those vegetables were delicious, weren't they? Not really. They were covered in all sorts of bugs, and half of the tomatoes were all unripe or rotten. I was only able to really eat a few of the vegetables that you'd brought over. I don't like to have this thought, but something tells me that you might have changed the date on the card you gave me. If you've got any idea as to why it happened, could you please tell me now? I shouldn't have to give you an explanation, as you probably already know the reason why. So what you're saying is that you did change the date on the invitation you gave me. And now that you know, I just wanted to keep my son safe from someone like you showing up to his wedding, that's all. I'm sorry, but what does that mean? How was I a threat to your son? Did you think that I was going to try and sabotage the wedding or something? Ari, you've had a history with divorce, right? And right now you're raising your daughter all on your own. That's true. I am raising her on my own, but what does that have to do with this? I hate people that have had a divorce. And I don't really like people that make their kid grow up in a one-parent household. What's that supposed to mean? So because of that, I made sure you wouldn't be attending my son's wedding. I don't want to imagine someone with a history like you showing up to any wedding at that. It'd be a waste of everyone's good mood. And worst of all, you'd bring bad luck to the newlywed couple. What is this? I can't believe you used such a petty reason to make it so that I couldn't be there on the day of my darn little sister's wedding. That was the one day I was looking forward to so much this year. And Macy was supposed to be the ring girl for her this time. I was so excited to see it all happen. That girl already has to be raised by a single parent, so it's not like being important at her aunt's wedding was going to change her outcome. If you're looking for someone to be angry with, I think you're better off getting upset at yourself than me. I wasn't the one that ended up being left old and alone after a divorce. What? I heard why you decided to get a divorce from your ex, from Hazel. You tossed him out, saying that you didn't want to be around him anymore. Hey, I threw him out because he was the type of person that never cared about us as a family. Not even his own daughter. I was pretty much manning the whole family all by myself, so I had no choice but to divorce him. I didn't want to continue living my life with him when the only thing I got in return from all my hard work was him leaving me dishes to clean in the sink after he ate all the food in the fridge. Stop trying to make yourself look like the victim. When you are that young, it's normal for the wife to be the one that does everything for the family. Huh? It's the wife's job as a woman to take care of the house and the children. And it's the job of the husband as a man to focus on his career over his own family. But you decided to forget all about your job and divorce the man instead. I just can't understand people that get a divorce other than the fact that they did it out of pure selfishness. I think that you and I have lived in very different times. You're from the past, whereas I'm from the present. Our ways of thinking are far too different. Maybe that's why you don't understand us getting divorced. Oh, don't blame your terrible choices on the fact that your generation is allowed to do things like that and mine wasn't. But I guess that's the only excuse an idiot like you could come up with. Really? Thank you for giving me the chance to sit in and listen to your little excuse. This has given me good reason to make sure that you never get to be around my son or your little sister. If I ever let you talk to Hazel about your past and give her all these meaningless excuses as to what you really did, then she might start to think it's okay to be selfish and rude. I'll make sure that she turns into a good housewife, okay? Are you trying to start some crap between our families? First off, don't try and use my reason for getting a divorce as a way to keep me away from my own sister. And second, I think that you have the complete wrong idea of people that have had to go through the long and sometimes horrible process of getting a divorce. Someone like you probably can't even sympathize with what I had to go through with my ex. I don't care to understand how you feel. not some brainless loser that had problems with my life and family not revolving around me. I know what the job of a wife and mother is, and that is to support the husband and the house. I'm the exact opposite of you. You're just a worm in the mud trying to dig yourself away from all your problems and the things that you don't like. A worm. But now that your sister has married my son, she's now considered a part of my family. You'll never be able to change her with your vile way of thinking. I'd start thinking about finding someone else to start passing your sad and unfortunate views on to. Are you being real with me right now? Stop saying that crap to me. Of course I won't stop. I'm going to start teaching Hazel about how to become a real woman. One that sits below the man of the house and does everything for him. It's my destiny to teach her these things now, before she turns into a witch like you. I can't. Just so you're aware, when I'd first heard about your past, I was going to call this whole marriage off, but I thought instead of forcing her to be raised with you, I could save her and make sure that she becomes the wife that my son really deserves. So you should be thankful that I'm doing this for her. You wanted to say no to their marriage? She never did anything wrong, though. She didn't do anything, but just the thought of her having been around you makes me want to forget about any of you guys ever existing. I felt that maybe if I let this wedding happen, Hazel might toss my son out as well. Jimmy doesn't deserve that one bit. I tried many times to persuade him into leaving her, saying things about how difficult life would be if Hazel were to leave him like you did to your ex. But he was already taken away by his love for Hazel, and so I had to settle for making the choice to save Hazel from you. I am never going to make Hazel think it's okay to divorce Jim, unless there is a really good reason to. Well, she shouldn't be wanting to ever do that. Jim made sure to get hired into a really nice company where he'll make more than enough money to keep her happy. I told him that I'll forgive him for marrying her as long as he's able to keep her on a tight leash. You can stop telling me about all of this already. It seems like you're only trying to make me feel bad for the past that I have just because of a divorce. I guess I'm fine if you treat me this way, but stop trying to rope Hazel and Jim into this. Hazel will hopefully never have to think about the stuff I had to. Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't already deleted your number by now. The way you talk about me and her is something that I shouldn't be able to let go on. And what are you going to do to me if I continue? Oh, wait, I bet you'll try to force your sister to divorce my son so that you don't have to be around us anymore. You're just that kind of single-minded, selfish jerk that would make your little sister join you in becoming a divorced woman. Ugh. Sorry to say, but the wedding is over now, and your sister is now mine. Don't expect to ever see or hear anything from her again. But if you do try anything, just know that I have every right to make your little sister's life hell.
Then I guess I won't be living with you guys anymore.
What?
Jim and I were supposed to be living over there with you guys after the wedding, right? Because of that, I had all of my things moved over there as well, right? But now that I've listened to all you had to say, I'd like my stuff back. I would never be able to live with those that I can't trust.
Wait a sec. Huh? If by some chance, is this Hazel?
Yes, the Hazel that just married your son yesterday. So once Jim and I get back from our honeymoon, I'll be gathering all of my things and leaving your place.
What is going on?
I'm glad I was able to find out who the real Hannah was before I decided to live with her. I guess I could call this one a close call.
Wait. What is seriously going on here? Why the hell are you using Uri's phone right now?
Before I was able to head out to California with Jim yesterday, Uri came over to apologize for not making it to the wedding. We both wanted to say sorry to each other for the way we acted and to ask the question of why the invitation was messed up in the first place. I'm still a bit surprised that the criminal that changed the date on Uri's card turned out to be Jim's own mom.
Huh? Don't use the word criminal to describe me. I have thought of you as part of my family ever since you married my son yesterday.
I don't really care what you think of me. especially after you made my sister miss my wedding and called her all sorts of terrible names. What you did to her was a perfect example of harassment. Now because of that, I have to rethink how I'm going to go about living with Jim.
What? Why do you think it's okay to be so direct and cruel to me? I was the one that finally allowed the two of you to get married.
I don't think you should talk to me like this. As you're probably unaware, Jim is right here with me looking at all the texts you've sent thus far. And he's also really upset with you.
What? Jim is there with you right now.
Of course. What did you think a honeymoon was? Why wouldn't he be right here next to me?
That's...
Not only does Jim know about what you've said, but soon I think that he will tell his dad as well. So, because of how far downhill our whole relationship went, we're not in the right mindset to want to stay at your house with you.
You're my son's wife. Do you think saying things like this to his mom is such a good idea? I will never be able to forgive you for running away like this.
Why? You barely even liked me from the beginning. Saying that you never wanted Jim to marry me, so you tried to persuade him into giving me up, right? Shouldn't you be happy right now that you won't have to have a person that you hate as much as me living in the same house as you? Or perhaps you're getting angered by the fact that the person who'll be bringing in close to $1 million a year won't be around you.
Wait. What are you saying?
You thought that it was Jim that got that really nice job, didn't you? Well, he was just saying so that you wouldn't get mad at him for marrying someone making more than him. I was already feeling pretty distant from you to begin with, but now I feel that I only want to be further away from you. I think that both Jim and I agree on the fact that after we get our things, we will be leaving you. Someone who is both biased against those that have had a history with divorce and those that seem to want people around them to make a lot of money is not the kind of person I want to become close to. Jim is also saying the same thing right now. He says we should also wrap this up.
But just wait. Hazel!
For the time being, we don't want to talk to you. Not just me and Jim though, but my single mother, Ari, as well. Please don't try and go out of your way to contact us either, okay? We're gonna stop replying now. Bye! Ari, I'm really sorry about today. After that, I went back to Jim's parents' place and we all had a bit of a discussion about what happened.
Was Hannah finally able to accept what happened?
Well, I think she had no other choice than that after both Jim and his dad blamed her for all the drama she stirred up. Also, after we arrived, Jim's sister Amy came back home. We were all able to tell everyone about how you not being able to make it to the wedding was because of what Hannah did to you.
What do you mean? They shouldn't be bothered about what happened to me anymore, right?
I told you about how I wanted your daughter to be the ring bearer, right? Well, apparently the truth really came out from Hannah, and she said the real reason she set you up was so that her granddaughter could be the ring girl instead. Obviously, I don't fully believe her, and I sort of ignored that whole excuse. But apparently that excuse didn't really save her from any harm either.
Really?
Amy also became very upset with her mother for using that as an excuse. Amy said that she can't use the excuse of wanting her own granddaughter to bear the ring as a way of getting out of her situation. She was wondering why from the start of the wedding, Hannah was dressing her daughter up in all those fancy clothes, and her being the new ring bearer was all part of her plan.
So it doesn't even seem like Jim's family is pleased with what his mom did to me, no matter what excuses she tries to use.
Exactly. Everyone is pissed with her, and that was a great way to tell them that we really were going to change our plans and stay somewhere else.
Well, that's really great to hear. Congrats.
Also, I think I want to bring Hannah to your place one of these days to have her properly apologize for everything she did to you. What do you think? Would that be okay with you?
That's fine, and any time works for me. But I wonder if she'll actually mean what she says when she gets here. I couldn't imagine that she'll have changed that much since the last time you talked with her, right?
It'll all be fine. She said that she has changed her way of thinking. She even said to me that she wants to apologize to you.
Oh, really? Then I guess I'll be waiting for you guys to come here. Just make sure to let me know when you start making your way over here. Until then, I think the two of you should find another way to get back to California for your honeymoon. I will definitely not be going over there to apologize to you. It's all your fault that my Jim and Hazel don't want to live with me anymore. If anything, you should be the one to come over here to apologize to me. Huh? This is a little awkward. I was told that you'd learned your lesson and that you'd be coming over here to say sorry to me. I only said all of that because I was standing in front of all my family. Really, I'm still very pissed at what you did to me and by the fact that you're still a single divorced mother. But why do I have to be the one blamed for everything that you did? Everyone should be able to see that it is you that's the problem. I see. So all that crap you said about wanting to apologize and about it being your fault was all for show, huh? Did you actually think that I'd come to terms with someone like you having the history that you do being around my family? I can't believe that my own son even agrees with Hazel that I should go to your house to apologize. They were even saying that when they came back, they want to bring me with them to make sure that I say sorry the correct way. Yeah, that's what I was told. I'm looking forward to that day. Do they actually think I'm gonna go to some divorced dog's house? I'm the one that's the victim. Ah, the victim card, huh? So while they're out on their honeymoon, I want you to come over here to apologize to me. I want both my husband and Amy to watch as you get on your knees and ask for forgiveness from me. Am I supposed to agree with doing that for you? Yes, because it's your fault that Jim and Hazel won't stay here anymore. You should be thankful that this is all I'm asking from you. But here you are still acting as though you did nothing wrong. Oh. This is the reason why I hate people that have gone through a divorce. They're all selfish and annoying to talk to. You're all just fine making others suffer due to the fact that you couldn't just suck it up and do your job in the first place. Especially you divorced women always complaining about it never being your fault. You're all the same and just have the most insufferable personalities. Then I suppose after this you'll have to reluctantly learn just how terrible it is to have to go through a divorce of your own. What? You say that us divorced people have such an awful personality, so I just thought that you'd fit in with us perfectly. I guess that's the whole reason for the soon-to-come divorce then, huh? I wonder what'll happen to your ugly thoughts the moment you have to go back to being single and alone. Wait, what do you mean by this? There's no way I'm going to be getting divorced, ever! I do a good job of both caring for my husband, as well as a fantastic job of caring for my family. I'm the most perfect wife there could possibly be. You're going to regret saying that soon. I just sent all of this conversation to both Jim and Hazel, as well as to your husband. What? This whole conversation? You just sent it to all of them? Yep. It looks like your husband is already typing a reply to what I sent. Ah, he just said that he's super embarrassed to be with someone like you, and that his heart is throbbing at the fact that he has to be around you. What? That looks like the start of a divorce to me. I guess that means we'll soon be on the same level, that of a divorced single woman. Everything in your life is going to become a little crazy at first, but it's nothing to get too worked up about. You'll at least be able to have a good solid excuse as to why you act like such a nasty person. Lies, all of it. Wait, I just got a message from Jim. He says that this was the last straw. He also says that if we get divorced, he's going to only care for his dad and not me. Oh, gosh. Not only are you going to be left behind by your husband, but you'll also be losing any connection you had to Jim and Hazel. No! I just received a message from Amy as well. She just told me to never talk to her again and for me to stay away from her house for as long as she lives there. Wow, even Amy has had enough of your crap. It looks like you'll have nowhere to run to if you're kicked out of the house. That's not going to happen to me. Why do I have to be the one that gets punished for all you've done? What did I ever do to deserve this? Perhaps it's because you tried to make me look like an idiot by changing the date on the invitation. And the fact that you've been tormenting me by saying so much crap about my divorce, this is exactly what you deserve, you old stupid hag.
Huh?
You chose the wrong person to mess with this time. So stop acting like a sore loser after your attacks all failed. You deserve to be left behind by all of your family for the way you've acted this week. And I hope that this divorce will teach you the lesson that you very much need. And by the way, this will soon be the end of your relation to me, right? I'm not sorry for what happens to you next, because it will be the only way for you to face your wrongs.
Huh?
What else is going to happen to me? Right now, I'm teaching my daughter about how when you do something really bad, you need to apologize for it immediately. And this time, I told her about everything you said and did to me, and about how horrible I felt after. I told her about how you hurt my feelings by ruining the only chance I had of going to see my sister's wedding. So, I'm asking that you come over here at once to apologize to not only me, but my daughter as well, since she now needs to see what happens to those that hurt others.
What?
If you still feel like being the victim, then maybe it's time for me to teach her a very different lesson instead. I am a single mother after all, so I have to play the part of both the mom and dad here. So it's my job to not only teach my daughter, but also protect her from harmful people like you. Weren't you the one that took her chance of being the ring bearer for her aunt away from her? So I think it's time for you to come over here and become a good example of what you should do after causing trouble. Why do I shouldn't have to come to you. Until you decide to take responsibility for your actions, I'm going to continue to let your family know that you aren't going to change. So, now would be the best time to come say sorry, before you have to deal with your own family. The day after I tore Hannah a new one, she came over to my place to say sorry to both me and Macy for the way she treated us. Of course, I didn't tell her that I forgave her, because deep down I really did not feel any form of truth in her words. She even came at me saying that she came all the way here to say she was sorry. She then said for me to talk to everyone about stopping this talk of divorce and cutting ties with her. She even tried her best after she learned that I wasn't changing my mind to get her family to listen to her. But of course her husband said that she was history, and her daughter told her that she couldn't trust anything she said anymore. Amy even went as far as saying that Hannah would be a terrible example for her daughter, so that was that. A little while later, I heard that Hannah and her husband finally got divorced, and that she was kicked out of the house very quickly. Hannah then tried to go live with her mom, who was going on 88 years old, but was also kicked out after she wouldn't stop talking to her about how we all threw her away. I don't really bother myself anymore with the thought of where she's at now, but I'm really hoping that she's learned her lesson. Thank you for watching and listening. We hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Also, feel free to leave a comment about what you thought of the story. We look forward to seeing you at the next story.
Sam, would you please stop asking my husband to withdraw such a large amount of money?
Good evening, Kumi. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? Large amount of money?
It's really no use pretending you don't know. I already know what you've been up to these days. You and your mother are taking way too much advantage of my husband. Well, I guess that my husband felt obligated to comply to your request as well, so I guess it can't be helped this time. But from now on, please refrain from doing that ever again.
Well, I still have no idea what you're talking about.
I don't think it's something that I have to explain to you, word for word. Just put a hand on your heart and take your time to think over what you've done. Think very carefully about living your life by sucking money out of my husband. Consider the shameful way of living in that way. Excuse me then.
Josh, I just arrived. Oh, hi, brother. I'm glad you and Mom got back into the country safely. You're coming back the day after, right? That's right. The medical conference in Germany will finish tomorrow, so I'll head home when that's over. But to think that you let us accompany you for your medical conference so that we could enjoy sightseeing. When I first heard about it, I was so surprised. We had promised to take a trip together, but I didn't imagine us making an overseas travel. I wasn't able to fulfill our promise since I've been busy, so I thought this would be a good opportunity to do that. I couldn't spend as much as I would have liked, though, with you and Mom since I had to work. But there was a travel guide who spoke Japanese, right? Did things work out okay? Oh, that was so helpful. Both Mom and I couldn't speak German at all. Although it was the first time going overseas, I didn't feel so anxious and really enjoyed the time there. Thanks to you. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, I just remembered. When you are back in the country, could we get together? Yeah, of course. Is something up? There's something I want to talk about. About Kumi. About Kumi? Oh, is it something you mentioned earlier? Yeah, recently things have been getting worse. It also seems like she's been troubling you as well. Also, the matter I had asked someone to look into, that's been confirmed as well. I see. I'm sorry to trouble you when you must be tired from the trip. No worries. Then I should get prepared for the conferences tomorrow, so I'll message you again later. All right. Thanks so much for the trip.
Sam, aren't you and your mother really not embarrassed at all to be leading parasitic lives on your younger brother's money? Why don't you at least use your own money for the trip to Germany?
What? Oh, it's been a long time, Kumi. What do you mean by leading parasitical lives?
Do I have to explain everything to you? I know that Josh is a doctor and has a pretty good sum of money, but aren't you ashamed that you're using your brother's money to go overseas? Especially now that your brother has his own family? Don't you have any pride as his older brother? Or so he says.
Is that what you were referring to the other day?
Did you realize that just now? I am so shocked.
Well, as we had no intention of asking for his money.
But my husband paid for everything this time, didn't he?
That is true, but that was a promise we had made between Josh and I since a long time ago.
Oh my God, that is just unbelievable. You're telling me that you planned to get money out of him even before your brother was a doctor? I know that he already showed much promise for his career, but isn't that a bit too much?
No, that's not quite right.
Then what is it?
It's a little difficult for me to explain. When our father passed away, I was a senior in high school, and Josh was still in junior high. Because of our circumstances, I didn't go to college and started working right away after I graduated from high school. At that point, Josh already had a dream of becoming a doctor, so my mother and I decided that we would support him as much as we could.
Oh, so what you're saying is, because you supported him back then, you want him to help you out now that he's become a doctor. Basically, you want him to pay you back now. That's the promise you made, right?
No, that isn't how it is. I usually make sure that Josh doesn't spend his money for us. As for the trip to Germany the other day, it is true that Josh paid for our trip, but this is something that Josh had been saying he wanted to when he was able to graduate from medical school, and he did graduate. So that's how the trip finally happened. So this time, it was something special for all of us.
Well, however you frame it, it still doesn't change the fact that you let Josh pay for all your travel expenses. And also when you rebuild your house into an apartment.
What? That has nothing to do with Josh.
Really, these are the instances when one can see how stingy poor people can be. Please refrain from coercing Josh to give you money from now on. Never, ever again. Actually, never contact him again.
What? That is a bit too much.
Josh is my husband. I am the only one who can spend his money freely because I am his wife. If something like this ever happens again, I will not forgive you.
Kumi, I am getting a divorce.
What?
I'm getting a divorce from you.
Josh, what are you saying? Is this something to say over a message? What is going on here? I have no idea why you're saying such a thing.
And will you still not understand if I tell you that I am with my brother now?
What? With Sam? You told me it was your day off and you turned down my suggestion that we go out together.
That was so that I could see my brother.
Can it be that your brother is asking for your money again?
What?
This is enough. I warned him never to take money from you ever again. To think that he would have the nerve to meet up with you to ask for more money? Josh, don't you think you've had enough with a brother who is so poor and miserable?
What are you talking about?
There is also that matter regarding the trip you took with your brother and your mother to Germany. Also, a few months ago, they rebuilt their house into an apartment building, remember? Then they moved into one of the rooms in their apartment building and your brother became the owner and your mother is living with him, right?
Oh, that's right. What about it, though?
What do you mean, what about it, though? Your brother ordered you to pay for that money to rebuild that house into an apartment building, didn't he?
What?
Listen, I would understand if you became the owner of that apartment building since you gave out the money for it and you let your brother and your mother live there. That would be fine. But the owner of that building is your brother. That means that the income from the apartment rent goes straight into your brother's pocket. That is absolutely nuts.
Kumi, what are you talking about? The money spent on rebuilding that house into an apartment building was paid out by my brother.
What?
I gave them just $500 as a gift. How on earth did you arrive at such a misunderstanding?
What? Well, since your father died, your mother only worked part-time and is now living on her pension. As for your brother, he quit his company a few years ago and he's living off your mother's pension, right? How could those two possibly pay for rebuilding a house? The only relative who could provide them the money would be you, since you earn enough money as a doctor.
My brother is making as much money as I am now. While he was working at his company, he had a side job. Now that he can earn a good-sized income from that side job, he decided to quit his company and concentrate on his side job, which means that he can work from home. You also have someone you know who works from home, right? Even though you knew someone who works from home, you automatically assumed that since my brother is spending most of his time at home, that he doesn't have a job. What you say is unacceptable. How absolutely thoughtless of you.
But your brother only graduated from high school, right? And the company he worked for was a very small-sized firm, no? How can someone like that manage to earn enough money as someone who works from home?
If there is something you're really good at doing and you can make it into a business, it's possible, depending on how hard you work for it. It would depend on the type of job, of course. Maybe one needs to get a license or a special training. As for my brother, he worked hard for it and made it work.
Then why didn't you tell me all of this before? You didn't tell me anything about the apartment building. You can't blame me for misunderstanding.
Listen, as for the plan to rebuild our house into an apartment building, that started way before we even started dating. As for the kind of work my brother is doing, I did mention it to you before.
What?
As for the trip to Germany the other day, I wanted to pay my brother and mother back for all the support they gave me when I was pursuing my dream of becoming a doctor. It's something that I offered them.
Well, support. Still, just because they helped you out a little bit over living expenses, paying for all the expenses for an overseas trip is too much.
My brother paid for 2/3 of my high school and medical school tuition.
What?
And 1/3 was from the insurance my father had for our education fee. But then my father died suddenly. My brother supported my mother, who was completely distraught. On top of that, he looked after me since I was a junior high school student at the time. And my brother was only 18 years old at the time. Just imagine what pressure he had at that time. To be honest, I don't think that taking him and mom for an overseas trip is not enough at all.
What? Are you still planning to give them money?
That is why I'm getting a divorce from you.
What?
You don't like it that I want to pay back my brother and my mother, right? But this is not so much that we have to lower our way of living.
What? But the trip to Germany? It's an overseas trip, so it's not just a matter of 500 or 1,000, right?
For that, I used the money that I had been saving up when I was still single. This is not something I should be blamed for at all.
But...
What is it with you, Kumi?
What? Me?
Do you think that I didn't notice anything?
What are you talking about?
The credit card that I gave you so that you can spend for our living expenses. You've used it to its maximum. Do you think I would continue to allow you to misuse the credit card like that?
But you told me you would let me be in charge of the household expenses.
I did tell you that I would ask you to handle our household expenses, but that did not mean that you could use the money freely. Let me tell you more. Do you think that I would tolerate you using the amount equal to my monthly income on your lover? Think again.
What?
Did you really think that I wouldn't notice anything? I can also see the credit card purchase history, you know. Things looked fishy, so I looked into it.
You were looking at the bill?
That is the so-called family credit card, so it's natural that I can also see the bill. To begin with, that money is withdrawn from my bank account, so if I didn't notice anything, that would be really funny, wouldn't it?
Oh, God.
Anyway, I hired a detective to find out if you really had a lover. I now have proof of it, so you can't deny it. I also can't forgive you for all the insults you said regarding my brother and mom. I'm divorcing you.
Wait,
What for?
what?
If you were telling me to wait on the divorce, I can't oblige.
Maybe we can talk over this.
As for that, we can do that through my lawyer.
A lawyer?
The contract for the apartment we are living in now is scheduled to be renewed in 2 months, so I decided not to renew it this time.
What?
I still have some things left in the apartment, so I will go back once. After I pack everything, I will be gone for good. I want you to get yourself out of the apartment as soon as possible.
What? Wait.
What do you mean, wait?
What? Well, that is...
If it has no meaning, it's just annoying.
Josh,
Please talk to my lawyer. Goodbye. A few hours after we exchanged messages, I headed over to my younger brother's place to move his things out. My brother's wife, Kumi, was not there. Well, it was good timing. I managed to get all of my brother's things out in that short amount of time. As for Kumi, it seems like she ran to her lover's place for help, and my brother has confirmed that fact. Her things had been sent, cash on delivery, and the lawyer also paid her a visit. A month later, everything was settled and the divorce was finalized. As for Kumi and her lover, they had to pay for the consolation money plus all the money they had spent together. It was a one-time payment. The amount came to $70,000. They had to take out a loan, but they couldn't ask for help from their relatives, so they got themselves into a fix. Now, they are living days of regret and hard work.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and hit the like button. See you next time.